Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Got a card trick for you today called Exchange Poker, and I hope you like it. This is a poker routine, so if you're into poker or card games or gambling or anything like this, this is a fun trick to show to somebody. There's also a lot of spectator involvement in this trick. Spectator gets to make a number of different decisions, so this is a fun trick to do with the spectator as well. Since there's not a spectator, I've got a dice here, and that will kind of serve as my spectator. So the story of this trick goes that the other night I was playing poker with four of my friends. We'll say player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, and myself. And I was dealing the cards, and as soon as I dealt out the first card, one of the other players said, "Stop. Stop right there." And at this point, I would ask the spectator who that was. Was that player 1, 2, 3, or 4 that called out stop? So they would give me whoever that was, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to roll the dice just to show that it's random. That's a 5, so I'll roll again. 1. So we'll say player 1 said, "Stop. I don't trust you. You're a magician. You might be doing some sleight of hand to give yourself good cards and give all of us bad cards." And I said, "I promise I'm not doing that," but still, player 1 said, "Just to prove it, because I still don't really trust you, switch cards with me." And I was a little bit taken aback at that point, but I said, "All right, if you really don't trust me, I will switch my card with yours." And so I continued dealing. And after I dealt the second card, that kind of gave me an idea. What if I did that after every card that I dealt? And so I would ask the spectator, who do they want me to switch my hand with? Player 1, 2, 3, or 4. And whoever they said, I would switch my entire hand with. Let's say that's a 6, 5, another 6, 2. Okay, let's say the spectator wants me to switch my hand with player 2. So I'll take their cards, they'll take mine. We'll deal out the next card. Now we've already switched with player 2 here, so that leaves 1, 3, and 4. Let's say the spectator wants me to switch with 3. So I'll switch my cards with player 3, deal out the next card, 1 or 4. Let's say the spectator wants me to switch with, I'll roll a 1 or a 4 here. Might take me a moment, sorry, 4. So I'll switch with 4, and then I'll deal out the final card here. Only player left is player 1, so I'll switch my hand with player 1. Leaving me with 5 very random cards that I could not have predicted or manipulated in any way. And so after all that, after all those random switches, let's see what our players end up with. Player 1 ends up with pretty good hand. Actually, 3 jacks right there. Should be a winning hand, I would think, 3 jacks. Player 2, wow, even better, 3 kings. Very solid hand right there. Player 3, not quite as good, a pair of queens, still a decent poker hand. And player 4 ends up with also a pair of queens. So everybody obviously ended up with some very strong poker hands just to prove that I was not intentionally giving them bad cards. My hand, let's take a look at what I've got here, and wouldn't you know, I end up with the 4 aces. How about that? So at that point, the other players, my friends, were a little bit embarrassed. They were a little bit taken aback. And they didn't really say much the rest of the night. They kind of kept quiet, and we just continued playing poker the rest of the night, having a good time. And we ended up getting, after a while, to the final poker hand of the evening. And so I went through and I dealt one final hand to close out the night. Dealt the first card, dealt the second card, and as soon as I dealt the second card, another player said stop. And I would ask the spectator who that was, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's say it was player 1. Said stop. I think I've got you this time. I think I've caught you off guard. I think you were not expecting me to stop you. You were probably dealing yourself some good cards right there. And so I kind of peeked at my cards and I said, I'm really not giving myself good cards. I've got a 3 here. That's not a great card. But still, he said, switch with me. I still don't trust you. Switch hands with me. And so I did. I switched my hands with player 1. I continued dealing. And then the spectator wanted me to switch my hand with either 2, 3, or 4, 3. So I switched my whole hand with player 3. Deal 1 more card. Either 2 or 4 I'll switch with, whichever the spectator would like. 4. Switch with 4. And then finally, 1 final card. Only player left is player 2. I'll switch my entire hand with player 2. So again, some very random, unpredictable decisions made by the spectator. And after all that, we end up with 5 completely random poker hands. So let's take a look here and see what we end up with. Player 1. Not a whole lot to show for that hand, just a king, basically. Player 2 ends up with, again, almost a flush, not quite, just an ace high there. Player 3, a little bit better, a couple of queens, pair of queens right there. Player 4, not quite as good, a pair of jacks. And finally, we get to my hand. Again, the whole point of this exercise of me switching cards was to prove to my buddies that I'm not dealing myself the best cards. I have no control over how the cards are dealt. So just to prove that's the case, we'll take a look at my hand and we'll see that I actually end up with a perfect royal flush after all of those decisions and switches there. So that is the trick, guys. It's called exchange poker. Kind of a fun 2-phase poker routine. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you like that one, didn't like that one. And that is the trick for today, guys. So come on back soon for more fun magic videos, and have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll see you later.